March 1968, 16,000 feet beneath the surface. One sunken Soviet nuclear ballistic missile submarine. One billionaire's cover story. And a $350 million secret ship engineered by the CIA. Welcome to Shadow Files. In March 1968, a Soviet Golf-class diesel-electric submarine designated K-129 set sail from its home port in Kamchatka. On board were 83 Soviet sailors and 3 nuclear ballistic missiles armed with megaton-class warheads. 2 weeks into its deployment in the North Pacific, K-129 missed a mandatory radio check-in. The Soviet Navy realized something catastrophic had occurred. Over 2 months, dozens of Soviet warships and aircraft swept millions of square miles of ocean, dropping sonar buoys and searching frantically. They found nothing. The Soviet Navy eventually called off the search and declared K-129 lost with all hands. What the Kremlin did not know was that the United States Navy had been listening. Using SOSUS, a highly classified network of hydrophones anchored across the ocean floor, American analysts detected an acoustic anomaly on March 8, 1968. It was the sound of an underwater explosion, followed by an implosion. By triangulating data from multiple listening stations, U.S. oceanographers pinpointed the precise location where K-129 sank. In August 1968, the specialized U.S. Navy oceanographic ship USS Mizar lowered a deep submergence camera 3 miles down. It photographed the shattered remains of K-129 resting 16,000 feet below the surface. When photographs of the Soviet submarine reached the CIA, officials realized they were looking at the intelligence prize of the Cold War. Lying on the ocean floor were intact nuclear missiles, codebooks, encryption machines, and naval torpedoes. If the United States could raise that submarine secretly, it would give American intelligence total access to Soviet naval communications and nuclear technology. There was only one problem. Lifting a 2,000-ton steel submarine from 3 miles underwater was considered engineering suicide. No cable in existence could support such a load without snapping under its own weight. Furthermore, operating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean for weeks would attract immediate Soviet military interference. The CIA needed an impossible ship and an airtight cover story. In 1970, the CIA established a covert salvage operation codenamed Project Azorian. To conceal the buildup, the agency approached eccentric billionaire and industrialist Howard Hughes. Hughes agreed to lend his name and company, Summa Corporation, to the operation. The public cover story was straightforward. Howard Hughes was building a futuristic oceanographic vessel named the Hughes Glomar Explorer to mine valuable manganese nodules from the seabed. The global press believed it. The public believed it. And most importantly, Soviet intelligence believed it. While the world believed Howard Hughes was entering deep-sea commercial mining, the CIA was engineering one of the most complex ships in naval history. The Hughes Glomar Explorer featured a massive opening in its hull called a moon pool, completely hidden from view. Inside this moon pool sat a gigantic mechanical capture vehicle nicknamed Clementine, a massive steel claw designed to descend 3 miles and grip the hull of K-129. To lower Clementine to the seafloor, engineers developed a system of heavy steel pipes. Pipe by pipe, the string would be screwed together and lowered into the abyss. The ship was equipped with sophisticated dynamic positioning thrusters to hold its exact location above the wreck despite ocean swells. By mid-1974, after 4 years of secret construction and over $350 million spent, equivalent to nearly $2 billion today, the Glomar Explorer was ready for deployment. On July 4, 1974, the Hughes Glomar Explorer arrived at the target coordinates in the North Pacific, 16,000 feet directly above K-129. Within days, Soviet naval vessels arrived to monitor the American ship. Soviet officers watched through binoculars as the Glomar Explorer operated what appeared to be heavy mining equipment. The CIA crew on board maintained the mining cover story flawlessly, even broadcasting fake announcements about mineral samples over the ship's loudspeakers. Beneath the hull, out of sight from Soviet eyes, Clementine was lowered pipe by pipe into the dark depths. On July 18th, after days of careful lowering, the mechanical claw reached the ocean floor and settled over the hull of K-129. The massive steel fingers closed around the shattered submarine. The lift began. For days, the pipe string slowly pulled the heavy submarine upward through 3 miles of pitch-black ocean. But on August 4th, as the submarine reached approximately 9,000 feet below the surface, disaster struck. Under the immense weight, several steel fingers on Clementine suffered a catastrophic structural failure. 2/3 of the K-129 hull broke away and plunged 6,000 feet back to the ocean floor, shattering on impact. Despite the failure, the CIA crew managed to haul the remaining bow section into the Glomar Explorer's hidden moon pool. Inside this section, technicians recovered the bodies of 6 Soviet sailors. Demonstrating military honor, the CIA crew conducted a formal naval burial at sea for the fallen Soviet sailors, complete with the Soviet naval ensign and traditional prayers, filming the entire ceremony for official military records. The Glomar Explorer returned to port. The CIA planned a second mission, Project Matador, to return with a reinforced claw and recover the remaining sections of the submarine. But before the second mission could launch, the cover story collapsed. In February 1975, thieves broke into Howard Hughes's corporate offices in Los Angeles and stole classified documents linking Hughes to the CIA submarine recovery operation. Journalists began asking questions. On March 18, 1975, investigative reporter Seymour Hersh published the story on the front page of the New York Times. The secret was out. The Soviets were furious. Further salvage operations became politically impossible. When reporters pressed the CIA for answers, the agency issued a statement that entered legal history. We can neither confirm nor deny the existence of such records. This phrasing became known worldwide as the Glomar response. Project Azorian remains one of the most daring engineering feats in maritime history. Though the CIA recovered only a portion of the submarine, they proved that human engineering could reach 3 miles into the deep ocean and manipulate heavy objects in absolute secrecy. Case File 1974. Project Azorian. One sunken submarine. One billionaire's cover story. 3 miles of dark ocean. This file remains closed, because some of the greatest engineering achievements in history were accomplished entirely in the shadows. See you in the next file.